Maddie, good evening. As you guys get in, if someone can just let me know if there's any issues with the hearing here, with the sound quality. Testing, testing. Make sure there's no background noise here before we get started. PW, sound great? Appreciate that, Maddie. What's going on, Jeff? Should get a few more people rolling in here, and then we'll kind of get started here, see what's going on with the markets. Today was a pretty interesting day than most this week so far. We got a nice little movement here, and now, it's all about timing the reversal here at this point. But hopefully everyone came out green today. Izzy, what's up? What's going on, Neil? Hopefully everyone came out green today. Today was had some pretty good setups out there, a lot of mixture. We saw a bit of rotation go into a few names outside of tech. So that was a good sign today. I did mention that probably a few nights ago, actually. Keep an eye out on all the heavy volume that was coming into Caterpillar. That was a good one. McDonald's was one on the back burner. Walmart's been one that's been a monster. It made like $2 moves back to back days. I also mentioned Lowe's. I believe Lowe's was also up the past 2, 3 days here. So I did mention that a few days ago that volume was shifting into those names, that we were seeing some nice little blocks go into those. And so hopefully you took advantage of that when I did mention it. But other than that, we saw tech kind of sell off a little bit early this morning. We saw Amazon, we saw Google pretty flat. No, actually, Google went down about $29 today. And so it was a little bit of a heavy side on tech, but we saw a sign of life from Shop. Shop was a good one here today. I know that red to green movement today on Shop was a pretty beautiful one. We saw Square actually hold up. The news between PayPal and Pinch just went bonkers today. That was just insanely crazy. I'll get to my small account. Don't worry, Colin. What's going on, Dubs? Yeah, it's at 300. All right, if I want, I'll start off with that. I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. But yeah, a lot of price action today. If you actually saw Fortuna signals actually triggered, I believe it was a 3 times alert, if it wasn't a 2. But it was a 3 time alert, buy alert. And so I know that Darian was actually alerting everyone in the chat, for those of you that weren't aware. And then also that Dan also took a position if you saw him. So hopefully a lot of you took advantage of that. That was a beautiful one. And then also I did get tagged from Darian also about Snap. That was a beautiful one. They did have 2 time buy signal today as well. So that was a beautiful one, and it actually had a good setup, a good follow through after that alert came through. Right? But getting started then, I'll start off with a small account. So as you guys know, I took Boeing quite a few days ago. I believe it was like last week, Thursday, Friday, I got into Boeing. And I was holding until I saw the Super Fortuna alert went off. Now, when the Super Fortuna alert went off, I think I was down about 20 to 22% on that. So I ended up holding it, disregarding my stop loss on it because of the Super Fortuna alert. I was going off of, our alert system basically, and that kind of backfired. So I ended up selling it. It was down like about 60 something percent before Boeing did this little pretty much pump and dump action like penny stocks did, because it literally popped up like $2 and change and then gave it all back. And I was like, but what the hell is this? So it is what it is, down 60 something percent. I have close to about 350 in the account. I'm not really that worried. What I will share before I get in started as well, for those of you that haven't heard us chatting about some new, pretty much some new alerts coming to TFC. And we were chatting about it on voice for the past few days, actually, if you caught on. But we do have some alerts that are in testing right now. This is pretty much geared towards a lot of you that have full-time jobs. You're out having activities, and so you're pretty much wanting to get swing trades rather than day trades. And this is really what that's geared towards. I know that Avery did a lot of work in trying to get this going. And so as we're testing it right now, hopefully everything goes well the next week or two as we do the testing. And that'll be a beautiful opportunity for those of you that have really busy lives. And those will be some really nice swing plays for you guys. So I just want to give you an update on that, and we'll see how that goes. I am testing it out myself as well with those alerts. So I did get into 2 of them today. There was Expedia calls that it alerted today, and also Texas Instruments puts that it alerted today. So we're going to see how those play out. And so in effort to actually revive the small account, I may end up taking some of those alerts. So that way we can do pretty much 10% profits to be consistent to get the account back where we need it to be to pretty much get back, the norm basically. Right? So we do need to revive that. So I may use the alerts, the beta alerts, the ones that I do feel are aggressive enough and pretty much short dated, so I'm not holding it for multiple days as I did Boeing. But we'll see how that plays out and what alerts I do feel comfortable taking. And I'll definitely share that as the small account continues to go. All right, so I'll put that on there for everyone, and we'll see what comes out tomorrow. Will likely take a play on that. We'll see what beta alerts come out tomorrow, and then I'll decide upon that. All right. Now, moving forward, let's get into pretty much NASDAQ and S&P here. So as you heard us pretty much into the end of the day, you probably heard myself, Sig, Tom, Dapper, also Avery, and then Dougie actually jumped in as well, trying to time the reversal on the market here. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Fire Cycle is actually still bullish on the market. I actually saw someone comment about that. Not sure if that's true or not. He can defend himself, but I we're pretty much torn. Besides the fact that if we have one more leg higher towards SPY going to 454, or if this is pretty much the drop. And I'll zoom in to show you pretty much what Avery had as well, which is a pretty much a rising wedge action, in which it looks like we're actually breaking out of it. And so that's what we are pretty much looking at. As you see, you're getting that little bit of a dump here. It's looking like it actually broke that support. And so that's what we're really looking at as far as this reversal. And so that's what we really want to see is, are we going to continue to expand this support level and then make the leg up higher going into tomorrow morning, in which we do have data coming out tomorrow. News always takes over TA. So if for whatever reason, as we've seen, jobless claims every Thursday has been pretty much bullish for the market, or rather neutral, because we've beaten estimates the past few weeks. If we, for whatever reason, get a surprise dump off of that, surprise disappointment for that matter, then we could end up seeing markets rally, because it may be signaling the fact that the tapering and all that may be some kind of delayed factor upon that. So we'll see what that does for that matter, because again, news goes over TA. So if we get some kind of surprise out of jobless claims, that may be the trigger to get us that next leg higher towards 454. So I just wanted to point that out there. So we kept debating that pretty much throughout the afternoon, if you guys heard us going back and forth. But that's what I just wanted to share. I know that Avery is pretty much already full on bearish for this matter, but we'll see exactly if the support level continues to extend, because we can easily extend the support level going sideways until we get the next leg higher and we just pop up. And I would assume that it's likely going to be news related if that be the case. Something's going to pump the market. So that's as far as S&P 454 would be that next leg higher, in which we get another 2-point move. And we are pretty much in a parabolic curve as well at this point. So I do want to alert that as well. So pretty much a parabolic curve, that end point is really hard to determine, and that's why you saw there was a lot of mixed signals between all of us. Okay. Now going into NASDAQ, a little bit of a different story here. As we saw, the tech was not doing too hot today. And I'm just trying to expand this and pull it down here. All right, there we go. All right, so as you saw, I was pretty much, my level was actually hitting perfectly almost. We wicked off of the 15,428. Then we came back, we broke above that level. And now we're pretty much hovering right around 15,338 on NASDAQ futures. And so this is the level where we want to see if we get some kind of hold here off of this wick that we'll likely retest down here. We'll likely retest that level 15,319 on NASDAQ futures, and hopefully we get the bounce if, again, we have that next leg up in the entire market. Okay, so that's what I'll be watching. Otherwise, if we fail 15,338, then we pretty much have a long ride down to 15,192, in which that will not set up good for tomorrow for tech. Okay, so that's just really brief right there. It's either one leg higher that we're going to go up and we can likely get up to 15,524, or if we end up not being able to pretty much chop around this area and hold 15,338, then we're going to go ahead and get that downtrend, that reversal down to 15,192. Okay. Getting into tickers, which I'm sure everyone wants to look at now. This was one of the plays that I actually got into, so I will show you this one. This is TXN. I know that Dan actually got into this one as well, but this was a beautiful double top formation. We had a nice little double top right around that $200 mark. And so I did get into puts right around the mid. It was right around this candle right here of 199.68. I did get into TXN puts. I got 197 and a half puts, if I'm not mistaken. It was one strike in the money. And so I am writing this one out. I believe I have like about 2 to 3 week expiration on that TXN. And so I am looking to continue this double bottom, the double top here, down to fill the downtrend here, right where this wick ends at about 197.74, and that'll be a nice little move with that strike that's in the money. So again, this is the beta alert that I'm showing you for what the pattern that it detected it looks like, and then likely some buyers stepped in for the downside. Okay. Another one that I actually I probably heard me and Avery going back and forth about this one pretty early. He actually was the one that caught this. But AFRM was a beautiful breakdown that we had today. As you saw, we pretty much got a nice curling formation. We ended up breaking down once we broke down below this level of 153.30. That was a beautiful short right there, in which we saw this end up breaking the channel, if you want to say, for that matter, the support. As we saw, it's only broken this channel twice, and so it's respected the support line for the most part, and that's why we saw that end up breaking down. And so I do want to see for a continuation. Now, I did exit my position. I'm not holding the puts overnight on AFRM. It is possible that we get some kind of choppy movement, or we get maybe a retest up to the now resistance, and then we get the follow through on the downtrend. So I'll watch to see what the price action is. If we get the retest, then I'll likely get puts again. If we don't get the retest, then I may or may not chase this down to that level down, in which I'm looking at 140. If 140 breaks, then my next level of support that I'm looking at is right around close enough to 134. Okay. So this is one that was a beautiful one today. Another one is Airbnb, and I think this actually looks a little bit better. I think on the 30-minute it looks a little better. But you can see a clear head and shoulders here. This is the left shoulder curls, head pretty much the peak here, and then the right shoulder as we get the nice little breakdown. So I am gonna watch this one down for puts here as well. We'll catch a little bit of support right around 167, and if we end up breaking down below 167, then this can come all the way back down to 164. So I'll watch that. I'll take it level by level, and we'll see what Airbnb does tomorrow. And so I want to see that head and shoulders play out to the downside, and we'll get a nice little downtrend forming there tomorrow, and I'll be calling that one out tomorrow. Now, pointing out this one, Tesla. I know that hopefully, did anyone actually hold Tesla calls or puts overnight for earnings? I hope you guys didn't do that. I'm likely expecting this to literally just kill premium on both sides. But the real reason I just wanted to point it out is that the peak of which we actually had from prior to now, if you actually saw, we actually peaked at one point at 877. That's actually the same exact level that we peaked here before the earnings at 877. So I just wanted to point that out. And so if we do see the downtrend continuing, the selling pressure escalate, then keep in mind the gap fills that are here. And so we'll see this gap start to fill below 851. That'll be a beautiful short here if we do see that selling pressure start to escalate tomorrow. If not, if we don't see that selling pressure start to escalate and buyers start to step in, upgrades start to come in tomorrow morning, then of course you're looking at breaking that 877, and then we're going for all-time highs at 900. Okay, so those are the two scenarios. Either you're going to end up breaking down and you're going to go towards that gap fill down to below 851, or if the buyers step in and we get upgrades, we're going to test 900 here soon. Okay, so those are two scenarios I'll point out there. ATVI, I actually put in this one out on live yesterday, but just to reiterate, because it did end up breaking out of our pattern, and it looks a little better on the 1 hour here, was ATVI inverse head and shoulders. So if you actually remember yesterday, we were right on this little green candle. If you look left to my cursor here, before it broke the neckline. So now we did end up getting the break on the neckline. We got a nice little retest on this green candle. And so we should get a fluid movement on this one. This looks to be pretty much a fluid swing right here if you get calls on this one. I do like it. They also have earnings coming up next month. So this could be a nice little run up on this one. If I'm looking for a target level, then my level that I was looking at is right around here. Is what I was looking at, right in the range of 79. 79 to 80 is the range that I was looking at. We could end up completing this entire gap fill that wasn't completed, and that would finish at 79.83. So this will be seeing a nice continuation if you are looking for something a little bit more safe rather than what the market's really presenting, because of all the mixture that's going on with tech bleeding out, the rotation that's going on to certain names of the Dow. This may be one of those names where you take a nice little swing on it, and it could be a rather safer play than what others may be. All right. So wanted to point that one out, give a little follow up. The other one that I am watching for a potential short here is CRM. I also pointed this one out on my Twitter, and primarily because we actually hit resistance on the ascending channel. And so I do want to see a follow through. If we end up breaking this key level of support here, that's when I'll enter for the next leg down, in which we end up breaking down below 280. That is, let me just make sure. Was that 280? 286 is the level I was watching. So it's another about 4.5 point move that we're looking at. And if we end up breaking down 286, then I will play that to the downside for the next level of support, which I am looking toward 278. That is. So I'll watch that one, and that'll be a beautiful move down once we break the first level of support. Next ticker was Moderna. As we saw, Moderna actually got news after hours. We had news that they're approved for their booster shots. So I already had this one charted before the news actually came out. I practically didn't even touch this chart for that matter, and we were right near support for this level. And I was expecting this to come down to that level, right around this level of support right here. And so we did end up tapping that level, and we got a little bit of a bounce. It pushed to like 599 or something after hours, but it just couldn't hold. If I'm not mistaken, it came down. It was only up like $3 and change by the time after hours concluded. And so I'm going to look for this one to see if we get a continuation. I do want to see this get a nice little move here right up to about 340 and hold and break over. That's when I'll feel more comfortable that it's not going to break below this. It's not going to break the uptrend. But if it can't hold above 340, then I will stay out of this one. I'll stay sidelined. And it is possibly that it is going to break the support level of the channel, I would say this, and we're going to get continued downside, and the selling pressure is just going to continue. And my level of support for this one would be right around the 320 mark. So that could potentially be actually a rather good short rather than the upside, because the news didn't necessarily hold up after hours as we saw. We didn't see a nice fluid movement after that $5.99 push that we had right off of the news. So it's likely going to sell off on that news come tomorrow. So I'll point that out, and I mean, just pretty much set an alert to see if this channel is going to break. And that's what I'll basically do, is set your support level and then wait for the support to break, because you could end up chopping here quite a bit and then breaking down. But 340 will be the level I'm looking at for the upside. Another one I'm looking at, and I posted this one on Twitter as well, was Roku. We have a nice little descending broadening wedge. We got that test. As you see, the peak is pretty much aligned all the way. We peaked here, and this candle just pretty much aligns with those two peaks that we have. And so we want to see if this is going to hold this current level. As we saw, it looks a little bit like could say it's a double bottom here. All right, no, it's not a double bottom. But we end up getting a reversal here, and so we want to see this end up holding. If I'm looking for a nice little support level, see if we get a nice little support. See if I can find a nice little support level here. So this will be your drawn out support level. As you see, it holds the body and the wicks of each candle down here. We're holding the body of the candle in the middle here. And so we could end up chopping around this area, and we're going to want to look to see if it breaks the resistance. If it breaks below the support level, then we're likely going to make another leg down or chop in the middle here. And that's not going to be too nice for Roku, because I know that everyone's pretty much bullish. The call flow was pretty much overall bullish on Roku as well. So I am expecting this to chop the area and then to get that push right out of resistance. So I'll keep an eye on that one, but definitely the resistance break is really what I'm going to be looking to play for, not necessarily the chop in this box, in this little triangle. The next one I have eyes on is also on Roku. We actually got a beta put alert on Google as well. So I'm gonna see how this one plays out. I'm pretty interested to see how this is gonna be, if the puts are gonna really gonna pay out, because I do like the pattern that is formed here, the rising wedge. It looks a little bit like it's bear flagging right here. And so I do want to see it come down to the support level here. If we end up getting down to support right around that 28.16, give you another double digit drop there to support. And if we end up breaking that support, then it gets pretty bloody. And that beta alert will definitely play out. So I do have my eyes on this one. Now the gap fill down below here, I don't expect this to necessarily touch until possibly if earnings really do wreck themselves. But I would like to see the support break, and then we can get a nice little dip down here. I can see this pull back. If I want to say moderate, because they do have earnings coming up, 28.04 will be a moderate pullback. So that'd be about what, close to $21 drop again after a $29 drop today. So that's a modest drop going into ahead of earnings there. The other one that I just wanted to point out last moment, because I did add this to the watch list last moment, was FedEx, because we do have that descending channel that's still playing out. If you remember, this was pretty much beaten up. That was a massive gap down that it had not that long ago. But we've actually trended upward so far. And so I do want to see how close we end up getting to the resistance level of this descending channel. As we see the rotation pretty much being a major factor now as of today. We saw UPS push, we saw FedEx push together. Are we gonna see a continuation to more of that trend? And so I am bullish on both of them for the meanwhile, if we do see that rotation continue that we saw with the Dow stocks pushing. So I will have my eyes on this one because of the fact that it was beating up so much rather than UPS that's pretty much pushing harder. I do like the upside here on FedEx rather than UPS. So I just want to point that one out. And then the very last thing, of course, which I'm always watching, is the 10-year bond yield. And so I do think that fear is going to come into the market once we get over 1.7. I do want you guys to keep that on your eyes. Well, keep that on watch for that matter. My bad. But keep it on watch. I'm sure one of these days, if it's not this week, it'll be next week, that you're likely going to you're going to wake up and you're going to hear fears in the market, and it's going to be a little bloody. And it's likely going to be because of the 10-year bond yield and the fact that it's over 1.7. So I think the other day it was that the 10-year bond yield actually pushed like 6 cents. The 10-year bond yield does not move with those increments. So it's not moving in the fashion that it's supposed to. It's very volatile right now. And the market is not going to like that if it continues to escalate. And then the one thing that's not working in our favor, if I pull it out to the daily, is that we actually have a nice little inverted head and shoulders. So that's not working in our favor here. So I do expect this to escalate. I expect this uptrend to continue. And we're likely going to push 1.7 here very soon. And could that be the reversal in the markets here? That could be the trigger. I'm not saying that it will be, but that is definitely a possibility in which once we have fear in the market, we know what's going to happen. It's going to go bloody. All right. But hopefully that stalls out at least until tech stocks pretty much report their earnings next week for the most part. Otherwise, that's going to be a very bloody week in the mix of all these earnings that we have coming up. But other than that, that kind of wrapped up my watch list tonight. I'm not heavy on tech for my watch list tonight, other than that signal between Tesla and Google. Those two had the nicest setups that I looked at. But that kind of wraps up our session tonight. And what is this conversation going on between Tom and Izzy here? All the updates, a lot of things coming. Rapids were beautiful. Actually, the rapid today that we had, if I'm not mistaken, it was Microsoft today. The Microsoft rapid actually did pay. That was a beautiful one. And then the PayPal Fortuna signals that paid, and then also the Fortuna signals on Snap. That was also another beautiful one that Darian actually tagged me on that one. I missed that one completely. But we had some nice alerts go off today. Hopefully we have some more alerts tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to the beta alerts because that's really something that hopefully it comes to everyone soon. And I'm pretty sure Tom is pretty excited to get that one out here very soon as well because those look beautiful. I went through all the alerts myself and the win rate was pretty much insane. That actually blew my mind yesterday. So hopefully that pretty much the testing gets over here soon within the next week or two and that will be rolled out as I'm sure Tom's pretty excited to get that out as well. But that does wrap up our session tonight, guys. Space I missed. What about space? You guys are gonna make me look at space, right? Wait, didn't space die after they had that news? They pretty much just died, didn't they? Yeah, they had this little falling wedge action, which is not really pretty. I mean, I don't really see anything here. I actually see another leg down. I can see this coming down to about $16 and change to test support. I don't really expect this to break that resistance yet on this falling wedge. So I don't really see anything to look at as space, but oh, that's why. Wait, was that Super Fortuna or Super Fortuna Beta? Which one was that? I'm pretty sure it was Beta. I'm pretty sure it was Beta. You want the 10-year bond yield ticker? Hold on, I'll give you a sec. If you actually type in US10Y, you'll get it. Here, I'll actually type it in here for you. US10Y. There you go. You can type that in as a ticker and then you can monitor that. Again, over 1.7, then it's going to possibly get ugly. I think that's going to bring fear into the market. But who knows what'll happen there. As far as that space Fortuna, I I'm pretty speechless about that one. I really don't know what to say. Let me actually see. Hold on, before I conclude here, let me actually peep. Was that beta? Because I didn't really get an answer on that one. Okay, so it was beta. All right. So I don't know how to respond to that one, but we'll see what the price action is. I think I got to see it open tomorrow and see how the price action is tomorrow. It paid? Are you serious? Hold on, let me get down to like 3 minute. I mean, if it paid, hey, I'm all for it. All right, so you got a nice pop out of that. Yeah, that did moon intraday. That was a moon. Okay, I gotta admit that was a beautiful play right there. From that mid 19 level, it popped up to a 20. So if you got in the money calls or at the money calls, that was a beautiful play. I give that. So Fortuna Beta did come through. Despite whatever the price action is tomorrow, it paid today. That's what mattered. So that'd be that. Uh, I know you meant to say rad instead of ran, and I'm pretty sure that you got that ticker from Izzy. I'm pretty sure. Wait, what did rad do actually? I know that Izzy actually tagged me probably like 3 times this morning. All right, it was a nice pop, but guess what? I gave it all back. That's what you call right here is a pump and dump. That's what I call that. But on a real note, let me see what it actually needs to hold. Yeah, it needs to hold this level right here. As you see, that body is holding right there on that wick when it spiked. And then this candle held right around that level as well. So it does need to hold 14.15. If it holds 14.15, then yes, that's a beautiful level of support. But other than that, if you bought here at the top, that was what you call a pump and dump. Okay, Izzy? After we talk, I didn't talk any trash about Rad. I just didn't know what it was. I mean, I live in Florida. We don't have Rad in Florida, okay? But that's that. It is what it is. Dapper. Oh, it's mooning. I forgot about his meme. I forgot about that. Thanks for the reminder there. But other than that, we'll call it a night. We'll see what the price action is tomorrow. Is NASDAQ is still hovering, so no changes to futures. We'll see what jobless claims really do tomorrow, cause I I think that's kind of gonna be a key tomorrow. Even though we've been beating estimates every Thursday on jobless claims, it just feels like this week is a little different because of the fact of the point of where we are in the market. I do feel an upset coming tomorrow with jobless claims, but that be the case. We'll see. We'll wake up and find out what futures look like tomorrow. I almost did swing Amazon call overnight, but due to the price action and then wicking down and to close there, I did not like that. I know that Sig and Dapper, I think, actually took a position in Amazon call, but with the cost of that premium being 1,500 or something dollars, that wasn't something that I really wanted to go into because I had mixed feelings about going into tomorrow. And so as we see futures already kind of bleeding out, it's literally it feels like a coin flip going into tomorrow. So I am pretty much the only thing I'm holding was the beta calls that I have. Well, the beta call and put that I'm holding pretty outdated positions on, so I'm not worried about the price action tomorrow. But other than that, that's that. We'll see what markets do by morning, and then we'll go from there, guys. So I'll see you guys on live tomorrow. I am mooning. Wait, Tom, what are you holding, by the way? Don't tell me you're holding rad calls with Izzy. Do not tell me that. I hope Tom is not holding rad calls. He's probably holding something I don't even know, though. More than likely, because Tom does hold tickers, and it's likely in the energy sector that he's holding something. It is likely that he's holding something in the energy sector. NUE, LPX, CLA. You're holding that Boeing trash? Oh my god. I'd rather hold Disney than hold Boeing. Literally. Pray for my Nvidia call. Actually, if I actually peep real quick, and I'll do you this favor before I finish. I believe that there was some decent call flow on Nvidia, if I'm not mistaken. The chart wasn't looking super good, but yeah, there was 225 calls that came in for Nvidia. So maybe it prints, maybe it doesn't. It's a toss up, really. Golly, Tom. I do like CVS. I'm not gonna lie, that is a beautiful one. Intel, I do like. Boeing, get out of here with that 230 call. It's not happening. I mean, you're really gonna need a prayer for that one. Spot, I don't know why you're still holding Spot, but okay. And Verizon, I do like Verizon. All right. I mean, most of the players are fine. I just don't know why you're holding Spot and Boeing still, but that be the case. It is what it is. Damn, Tom, you're holding a lot. All right, you can stop. I don't need to hear anymore. Tom is just holding a lot. I don't even know what HCC is. What is HCC? Now he's gonna make me look up the ticker. Oh, okay, makes sense. Okay, he's holding an energy stock, which I did say was energy stock, but that's really his sector, so makes sense. Thanks for the $20 call on Verizon this morning. I'm not gonna lie, his call on Verizon was pretty much spot on. That was a beautiful one. And I know that he tracks silver probably almost every day he checks that. So he did time that perfectly. But that being the case, I mean, Tom's holding a lot tonight. Jesus. I don't know how you sleep. Oh, well, I don't think you are gonna sleep. You're probably gonna be on Monster all night. BTU calls. What does BTU look like? I thought it was up the last time I looked at it. Is it up? Uh, wait, do not tell me that's a double top on BTU. I hope that's not a double top for you. Is that a double top? Alright, yeah, that's not a good idea. BTU actually has a double top at 1460. So, it's likely gonna come hold support right around here, right around that 1447 level. You're likely gonna catch support on BTU. But hopefully it holds there. That's what I would expect. Other than that, that does wrap up our session tonight, guys. So I'll conclude here, and I will see you guys on live tomorrow for those of you that are able to make it. Otherwise, you'll meet me here tomorrow for a recap. And tomorrow's actually Thursday night football. Actually, I need to see who is actually playing tomorrow. But that be the case. Thanks, guys, for joining. So I'll see you guys on live tomorrow. Hopefully, markets are mooning. In which case, I'm gonna be upset I didn't take Amazon call overnight. But it is what it is. Hopefully, I'm actually really looking forward to beta calls tomorrow, or beta calls or puts, because that really has me excited. Because that is really playing out super well. I can't wait till that gets released for everyone. I know that Avery put in a lot of effort to get that going for everyone, and he's probably super excited as well. So we'll continue to test that. We'll probably throw those alerts out on voice as we get into them. But I'll call it a night here. You guys have a good night, and I will see you guys again